This computer, here we go. Yeah, we're recording if that's okay with everybody. So I'm Alison Kent with Yolo Audubon, and I am very happy to be leading this series of nature journaling workshops. From what I can remember, none of you have been to any of these before. Is that correct? Great.
Correct for me.
So yeah, it's actually interesting. We've had this is the third, and they've always been different people. So it's very cool. So what nature journaling is basically going out in nature and capturing in words and images what you observe. And that observation can be visual, but it can also be auditory. I'm a birder, and we identify a lot of birds by ear, because when you can't see them but they make a sound, that's a great way to identify them. And so you can make notations in your journal for that. For example, this morning we heard an American goldfinch overhead. I did not see it, and there's a lot of trees around here, so it's hard to see, but that was a bird that I was able to identify by ear. So nature journaling really kind of what got started over 100 years ago by Joseph Grinnell at the Berkeley Comparative Zoology Lab, who would have his students go out into the field. They would record obviously the date, the time they got out, the temperature, any other particular weather conditions such as sunny, overcast, raining, whatever. And then make an observation about every single species they observed, plant, animal, sometimes mineral. And this was very codified. So it is possible to go back to those notebooks in the Berkeley archives and see exactly what somebody saw on a given day and how many of them. Now, nature journaling as it is currently practiced today is probably a lot less stringent than that. And at this point we're in a position of, this is a great thing to get people out and about. Oh, hi, welcome Terry and Bob. I just saw you were there. Get people out and about in nature, recording what they see and hopefully drawing it. And so what people seem to get hung up on quite a lot is, I don't know how to draw, and I'm not sure I know what that bird is. Those are two things. And what paper should I use, and how should I do this? And I think the answer to all of this is, first of all, the more you do it, the better you get, for all of the above. And second, give it your best shot. Just don't get too hung up on, I want this to be a beautiful page. Just go ahead and do it. And really, honestly, the more you do it, the better you get, and the easier it becomes. And if you are intimidated by a blank page, and I'm going to show you right here. So last month, I finished my nature journaling book, my journal. So this is my last page here. And as you can see, I just started on an egret, which is not a great egret. It's not a good drawing, but okay, so I finished my book. So, oh my God, now I have a new book. Freak out, blank page, the whole clean, it's pristine, it's lovely. I am going to write on the first page of here, Nature Journaling 2020 November. And just break the blank page. Just don't let it defeat you. So yeah, I guess all of this is just to reinforce the dictum that it is great to practice, and you can do it where you are. You don't need to go to a fantastic nature preserve. You don't need to go somewhere fancy. You can start in your yard. And because we've just moved last week, I am actually going to start in my yard because I have not had a chance to do any nature journaling in this new book and also since we moved. So I'm going to start in my yard and make observations of the birds that I'm seeing and hearing there, but also other things. There's a very nice garden here. A lot of it is non-native plants, and I will not be focusing on those. But there are some natives here, and that will be great. So does everybody have something to write or draw on? Does everybody have a journal or a paper? It doesn't have to be bound. Everyone does, good. Does everybody have something to write or draw with? Okay, does anyone have any questions about their materials or observations, or do you want to share what you have, or just let me see. Okay, so Lois and then Anne.
So the question is, does it have to be in order, in sequence, or just loose pieces of paper on a clipboard?
Perfect. Whatever works for you.
Okay.
Now, in the ideal world, you might want a way to bind those in the end, and binding them with a binder clip is fine. But just to keep them, because yeah, absolutely perfect. Just to, because you know, I'm a great believer in hanging on to your early work, so that you can see how much improvement you've made. I mean, I'm also a hand spinner. I spin yarn, and I kept the first yarn I spun, which looked like a dog's dinner. I mean, it was not very pretty, but it reminds me that actually this was very hard to start. And now, look, I can make a nice fine spiderweb thin yarn. So it's the same with drawing. Just the more you do it, the better you get. Does that answer your question, Lois? Great. Okay. Anne, you had something to say?
So quick question. What journal are you enjoying now?
My journal that I'm enjoying now is a Stillman and Byrne Beta. It's a paper. It's quite thick. It's like a cardstock, but it has a bit of a tooth and it takes water very well. But I will say that I just finished doing Birdtober, which is bird drawings for the month of October. And this is the Stillman and Byrne Zeta, and it's my new favorite paper to work with. It's smoother. It really loves pens. It's very forgiving. And this one right here is actually, mostly I was working in ink and watercolor. This one, I did an ink and a watercolor of the Junco, and then I went ahead and did Prismacolor over the top, so colored pencil.
Oh, nice.
And it gave a very, very different result. I mean, so right here is the, what is this? A house finch, I think. Yeah. No, pine grosbeak, goodness me. Sorry, what a gaffe that was. Okay. So this is just pen. So the ink is it's diatramentis permanent ink, but it goes in fountain pens. So it doesn't ruin your fountain pen, but it doesn't smudge when you put watercolor wash over it. So, I mean, it's quite a different look from the colored pencil over that Junco. So I was having fun. I was experimenting with different, so this is just ink. This was again, it's the same ink, but the wash with the ink is a bit watered down. I know, oh yeah, and this is just black ink. And this was one of these, you know, these Pentel brush pens. So it comes loaded with Sumi ink. And so you just draw directly with the brush. Oh, and then here, it was the same pen for a bunch of yellow-billed magpies that I was drawing. I saw a bunch of them in the yard. They were coming down. I don't even know what they were eating, but they were very interested in something. It was a family group out at the old house. And so when you draw with ink, I will say this, when you draw with ink directly, you don't get too freaked out about is this exactly right? Just go ahead and do it. And you know, you can make a few pencil marks, for example, showing the orientation of the bird. Is it, you know, I'm talking about birds, but it can be anything. Is it standing like this? Is it more or less horizontal? Is it crouched? Is it cold? So are all its feathers puffed up around it? Or is it wary? Is it looking around? So get the basic posture and get the basic shape, but don't do the whole thing in pencil and then do it in pen. It doesn't, it's not, believe in your line, believe in your ability to make your hand flow with what your eyes are seeing. Does anyone go ahead, Terry? You're muted.
You're muted.
There you
So
go.
irritating, that mute button. I just have a question about size. So I have these three sort of journals, and I just wanted your recommendation about size. So there's this one,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's this one.
Mm-hmm.
And these two, I understand they take watercolor very well.
Yeah, those are quite nice. Yeah.
And then there's a medium size that doesn't come in that good paper.
Uh-huh.
So I just wondered, in terms of your recommendation for size of paper for nature journaling. This big one looks pretty intimidating.
Okay, so what I would say, Terry, is, I mean, are you planning on working mostly on plants or on things that move?
Too new to know.
Too new to know. Okay, so the advantage of a big one, this one isn't huge, but it's bigger. I will show you what you can do. You can divide, oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting a lot of speckling here. You can divide your page up into 6 or 5 or whatever. So don't try and work too big. Don't try, but you can use your big journal in case you want to, you get a bunch of sketches of one thing and then you want to work it up bigger on the opposite page. Absolutely. So the advantage of a big one is that you can do that. If you go too big, it gets too hard to schlep it around and you may not be doing it. So you know how they say the best camera is the one that you have with you? The best journal is the one that you have with you. So whichever one you're comfortable schlepping around with, and if you have a little backpack or whatever, if it fits in there, then it's great. If it starts to get too heavy and cumbersome, you may not want to do it.
Thank you.
Anybody else have something to say or ask or?
Yeah, I have a question. Do you check with a bird guide? Do you photograph, or all of these are just your quick observations? They're so beautifully done.
Oh, well, thank you. No, a lot of those were done from photographs. So in October, I was packing my house up. And I did try and get out every day for a walk, but these are the Birdtober is, they give you prompts, and I don't have a bird of paradise nearby to go and draw. So that one was of necessity that was from a photo. But where I could observe the bird directly. So this house wren, for example, we had a bunch of house wrens that fledged this year, and I have drawn this bird or these birds a lot over the years. So I know, first of all, I know that they move a lot. They're very active. And they cock their tails. And I know that there's this very marked checkerboarding on their wing pattern. Like when their wings are folded, it looks like a checkerboard. So that one was done sort of as a composite from, you know, which is what I was just saying to Terry, is that you do a lot of sketches and then you kind of put them together into a drawing that you like. But nature journaling is not about making art. Just want to get that clear. It's about honing your observation. And if you look really intensely into a California fuchsia, you know, think Georgia O'Keeffe, think that level of right in your face, what you do is that you learn things about what you're looking at that you didn't know before. And I think that's what this is about. It's about learning through observation. And your nature journal is your tool. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so how do people feel about going outside? It's chilly, but it's nice and sunny.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Good.
can I just get a quick sense? Oh, go ahead, Lois, I beg your pardon.
I'm sorry, when you go out, do you take your own chair with you, or do you pick a flower and then draw it on something else? I mean,
Yeah,
technically,
so
how do you do it?
so you can go somewhere that has benches, but the problem with the benches is that you can't move them. So what I have is in my little nature journal backpack, which is always loaded and ready to go. It lives by the door. I have this little tripod stool that goes up like this. So it sits like this, and then it has a little seat that just goes, I always get this slightly wrong, like this. It is not very comfortable, Lois, but it's really handy. Okay, so this is my stool and it lives in my backpack. And this is made by, it's called the Tri-Light stool. Now, by Buyer of Maine. I didn't know that. So the advantage of taking your own chair is that you sit where you want, but it's another thing to carry. So, and I have a lot of problems with my shoulders. I don't want to be carrying a lot of heavy equipment, but a stool is really, really helpful. A hat is really, really helpful. If you find yourself wanting to sit somewhere and you're in the full sun and you don't want to get sunburned, make sure that you have a hat. Make sure you bring whatever glasses you need to be able to see what you're doing and see what it is you're drawing. And in my case, those are two different kinds of glasses. So yeah. And obviously your equipment, but with with the journal and with whatever you're writing with, I would encourage you to go a little bit minimalist, because again, the heavier it is, the less likely you're going to want to do it. Everybody, most people in the world now have one of these. This is a really good camera. It works great for color reference. Okay, so you are looking at a bird way over there and you think okay, I'm going to remember the colors. I'm just going to draw it now and I'll color it in when I go home. Try and get a little bit of a sense of that before you leave, and use your phone. Use your phone to take pictures. It's so helpful. And even if it's a rubbish camera, it's better than nothing. And this is not to do fancy photography with. And believe me, I know people who photograph birds who will spend $10,000 on a lens. My pen, this is a Pilot Metropolitan fountain pen. It cost me, I think, $14.99. And this is my best pen. And I have many pens, people. This is my absolute best pen for drawing. So, Sue.
It's waterproof then, so you can watercolor over it?
Yeah, so this is filled with the Atramentis ink, which actually costs more than the pen did, by a little bit. But it lasts a long time, and it is waterproof. So most fountain pen inks are not waterproof.
Yeah.
But you can do a cool thing with that. I'm not sure I have one here. Maybe not. So what I used to do an awful lot, and it's not in this book. I didn't. I can show you though. So you get a fountain pen ink and a water brush. Here, I've got a fountain pen right here, and I'm going to show you how this goes. So I've got my little notebook here. I'm going to draw something. And let's just draw I don't know what I'm going to draw. Okay. So let's just say there's a bird up here. And he's all fluffed out because it's a bit chilly now. And like this. Okay. All right, so I don't know if you can see, but this is just a very schematic bird, random bird Robin style scrub jay. Okay, and so then you take your water brush right here and you can shade, because what you're doing is you're making the ink run on purpose. So that's what you get. And that was very fast. I mean, as you saw what I did, that was very quick. It was just fountain pen. Now, a lot of people don't use fountain pen, and I'm not advocating that you go out and start using fountain pens. There's a lot of fantastic felt tip pens, and everyone has their own favorite. I love the microns, but I'm a fountain pen person. Yeah, so Lois, can you show everybody that again? These are waterproof, and they come in many different nib size widths, and they're super handy. And they also come in different colors.
And the Tombos are fun too.
Tombos are great. Tombos are wonderful. So a Tombow is a felt tip that has a tip that is like a regular marker, and then a brush tip on the other side. So if you take 4 or 5 colors of these, you're good. You do need to think, and they come in an awful lot of colors. I do like watercolors, and I have my watercolor set that I take with, and I'm starting to use good brushes now. But this, sorry, I want to fold this into my laptop. So I do actually have more colors here than I would normally recommend for short nature journaling outing, but it means that I can, I'm seeing some flowers out here that have different reds in, and so if I want to get the color really accurate, I have everything I need there. I also take colored pencils. This is my little pack that I go out with. So brown, green, blue, and a yellow. And I like Prismacolors, but there are a million different kinds of colored pencils that you can use. Ones that are wax-based, ones that are watercolor, ones that are chalkier. Again, experiment with what works for you. And you don't need to spend a lot of money on this stuff. Photography, that's a different story. But you don't need to, I think Terry got some very nice journals for herself, and they did not break the bank. You can go very fancy with this, but you don't need to. Okay, Lois, go ahead.
Is this brand waterproof? It's Faber-Castell.
That one is that called a pit pen?
I don't know. There's a whole bunch of them, and some of them are broad and some of them are skinny.
You know what I would do, Lois? I would try, just make a mark and see and let it dry a little bit, because sometimes waterproofing, if you go over it right away, it will run because it really hasn't dried yet. But give it a minute, and then try and see if you can go over it. Some of them are definitely waterproof, but I'm not sure about those ones.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so can I just get a quick go around? Connie, are you going to be able to go outside, and are you planning on going to your yard?
Yeah, I can go out, and I don't know if I'll stay in the yard. It's not such an interesting yard. I might go. I live in Woodland, and I might go into Davis.
Oh, okay, great. All right.
I like North Davis and the Green Belt. I walk there.
Okay, fantastic. All right, how about you, Gwen?
I'll probably just go in the neighborhood. I live in West Davis.
Okay.
And I'm more inclined to get flowers and birds, but my was just get a pen and paper in my hand and give this a shot.
Great, fantastic. You've got some wonderful oaks that you can have a look at, and you can be looking for oak galls that are relatively new. Those are very cool. Those are, you know what they're made up by, right? They're
Sure.
the moss. So stuff like that is great. You have a lot of great things out there. How about you, Sue?
Probably out in the yard, out in the front.
Okay.
Just we have a native garden and probably that.
Of course you do. Silly me. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Anne, how about you?
Yeah, I'll just go out locally. I'm not sure I'll be back though when at the end because of time constraints. I'll try.
All right. No worries. Amanda, how about you?
Yeah, I'll go out into my yard. I'm not sure if I'll be back later either, but I'll try.
Okay. And Lois?
I have to do a finance presentation at the Quaker meeting, so I may get back, but I may not get back. So, but I'm going to go out and draw a little bit before things start.
So what I would actually say, if you can't make it back, but you are able to send in a picture from your iPhone of what you did, I'd love to see it. And just, I'm going to put my email in the chat. If you can't make it back, I'd love, I can't type and talk. I guess I can't do that. I would love you to send me what you did, or one of the things that you did that you liked, or one of the things that you did that you didn't like but had questions about. That would be wonderful. And Terry and Bob, how about you?
And we also need to leave, so won't be able to stay. So we're available till 10 and then have to leave.
Okay.
Email what
We're
little
gonna
bit
be in
we
our
have.
backyard, probably.
And it will be in our backyard.
Perfect. Okay. And
So-
Anna, I don't see you, but will you be able to get out at all?
It's on mute.
Yeah, I know.
There you go.
Back muted again.
Yeah.
Can't do you.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
Sorry, I'm gonna just go walk a little bit in South Davis.
Okay, fantastic. All right. So given that some people are going to be traveling and then some people need to leave, I'm going to leave this open, this meeting. And you can come back here, and if there's other people here, you can chat and talk about what you did. But I will probably be back on here at 10:45, back on here. But you don't need to get back here until 11. If that is too soon for you, and Connie, I'm thinking about you traveling to Davis, unless you can find some internet somewhere and rejoin from there, that would be great.
Or a phone. A phone can come from anywhere.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
So what the idea is to reconvene here at 11, if you can. If you can't, please send me something. And gosh, lovely to see you all. And thank you for joining me today. This is really a lovely thing for me to do. Just it clears my head out. And there's been a lot going on, obviously, the election and the pandemic and this and moving. It's a good way to reset your head. So highly recommend it. Okay, well, we will be back here. I'll be back at 10:45, reconvene at 11. If you want to come back at 10:45 and chat, that's not a problem. And
Now,
I'm going to.
Sorry.
Yep.
Do we sign out and then sign back in, or just leave ours open?
Lois, do you have an opinion about that? I think it's fine.
I think that it's fine for people to just be here and leave your camera going if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to leave because it's a Zoom meeting that I'm going to, but
Right. Okay.
Otherwise hang out. And by the way, she said oak gall, so I thought I'd put up a picture of an oak gall.
Yeah, so that's a leaf gall. So that is those attached to the. So these are all made by different species of insect, of wasp, and then the bigger ones that you can the big round, the oak apples. That's a different species, and those actually attach to the branches. So thank you, Lois. That's wonderful. I'm going to turn off my video and I'm going to pause recording. Terry, you had another question?
I just had a quick question because we have to leave. I'm so sorry we have to leave today, but are you planning to do this next month also?
I am. Yes, the Christmas bird count is later in the month. So yes, the plan is to do it on the second Sunday of every month at 9.
Oh, okay.
Which is not a time that works for everybody, and I know that, and I'm sorry, but we're, you know, if I start chopping and changing dates, it just gets too confusing. So that's when it is. Okay, well, fantastic, everybody. We will see you in a bit. Thank you so much for joining. And for those of you who have to leave, look forward to seeing you soon. And thank you for coming, and do send in your stuff, and Lois.
Thank you.
Yeah, one more question.
Quick question, Allison. The Stillman and Byrne, I love their journals. What size are you using now? I think the one I use is too small. I think I want a bigger. Is that the 5x8?
No, this is, geez, you're asking me questions. I have no idea. Five. This is 8.5.
By 5.5.
All by 5.5. And then, but my nature journal is 10 by 8.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah. That is as big as I'm comfortable going.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
That's like, okay, this fills my backpack. I'm good. I don't want to go any bigger than that. Lois?
Okay.
On the next one, you said second Sunday at 9 a.m. Is it in this space, the same number?
You have to, I think you have to register for each. I'm sorry,
It's always nice when it repeats. Yeah, okay.
Lois, if you, I would love to talk with you offline sometime about this, because we are, we're floundering in Yolo Audubon about doing this. And I know there are ways to do these things. I know there's a way to make it a recurring meeting that is always the same, but I don't know how to do it.
I'd be happy to help you with that.
Thank you, Hun. That's very nice of you. Thank you.
Good
I
job.
know, it's really helpful having people who know what they're
She's been
doing.
so helpful with our Davis genealogy group.
I know, and the Fit for Life as well. It's just,
Yeah.
So thank you, Lois. Yeah. Right.
Oh, shucks.
Okay.
And Allison, your bird drawings are beautiful.
Oh,
They're
they
really
are.
nice.
Thank
Really
you.
nice.
So what I will say is that I have always felt that it was totally cheating to draw birds from photographs.
No, it's not.
Because it's like, no, I've got to be able to see it, catch it, get it, do it, and then work for my sketches. And this Birdtober, I got over that. I got over myself. It was like, I've learned a ton from drawing from photographs. I still think it's better when you can to draw from life, but I will no longer beat myself up if I'm reduced to drawing from a photograph. So, you know, that was a learning experience. So many things I learned in October, you know.
Yeah.
Well, also this is a birding group, so people are interested in birds. But if you feel a little intimidated about drawing, start with a leaf, start with a flower.
Yeah.
They're not going to move around.
They don't run away, right? Exactly. Yeah. Okay, folks. Well, we will reconvene here at 10:45 for 11. And thank you very much, everyone, for showing up. And people who can't come back, that's okay. We'll see you next month. All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
I'm going to pause the recording. There's Anna with a nice goose behind her.
Yes.
Uh-huh. I like that.
Yeah. Connie, can you hear us? Not sure about Connie. Okay, well, how was that experience of going out and getting cold? Because it was chilly. It was chilly.
Well, I went out for a little while, but I came back in.
It was cold.
It was windy. Yeah, it was windy cold. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I just did it from photographs, nature from photographs.
Okay, good.
I actually sat and drew in my backyard,
Okay.
and quickly.
Yeah. How about you, Anna?
My daughter and I went out and took a walk, our usual loop, and I'm probably more into the walking than drawing, but I had a lot of fun, and we were just observing, and I wasn't so much focusing on one picture as just trying to capture the feel and things that kind of caught our ear and caught our eye as we went around.
Cool. And Connie, are you able to hear us? Hello, Connie. Maybe Connie isn't there. Well, I'll show you what I did. I also went outside. So this is our new place. We just moved last week. And one of the plants that I've been noticing around here that the hummingbirds are into, I think it's some kind of a monkey flower cultivar. But they seem to do very well here. And I saw a black phoebe on a wire, and I had some yellow-rumped warblers. They were in the tree and kind of active, and getting a little more active as it has been warming up. And then we had my first cedar waxwings from this house play over, so that was cool. And I did my bird list here. And then I made some observations about the kinds of trees around here, because this is a well-established garden neighborhood. It's over 100 years old, and a lot of the trees here are very old. Not mostly as old as that, but really, really, really good. So, oh, and I noticed that the moon was half full, and then I realized that when you draw the moon, you probably shouldn't draw it in ink at the edge, because the edge is it's not a hard edge. It's very it's soft. So that was something that I learned about the moon. Anyway, so does anybody want to share what they did, or would you rather send me a photo of it? Sue has some photos, so she probably doesn't have some she can know.
Well, I've got something I did from photos. I'll share it. This is actually, this was taken from my front window at my neighbor's.
Wow.
This one is taken across the street at Stonegate Lake from my second story, looking over at the west. So it's red tile roofs, which I got 2 red. I get a little too intense with color.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd rather have what they call a high key, which is more white and just shades of wash color. Mm-hmm. But I always go to intense, and I use Tombow for the color most. Right. Then this one is my granddaughter in the zinnia field over in Woodland. It's a picture I took during the summer, and she was neck high in zinnias. And again, it was just kind of a nature look, and I'm not quite sure how to do that, but it's okay for this. And as you did your bird list, I do that often when I'm on trips. I need to write down that this is Annika and when it was, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it is helpful to date things and to say roughly what the weather is, and is it
yes.
I mean, I noted that it's chilly. It felt chilly. It's not, I mean, my sister's in Maine, my mother's in Maine. This is not chilly.
No.
But to us it's chilly. Anyway. Okay. Gwen, do you feel comfortable sharing, or are you
I'll show you what I did.
It's not a requirement. I don't,
So and I'm not real good.
Wow.
So
really nice.
Part of my backyard.
That's wonderful.
What is it?
I have a couple pots of succulents and some in the ground. My tomato cage, I've got to work on them. I couldn't get the perspective, but one of my goals was to keep erasing to an absolute minimum.
So is this pencil?
This is pencil.
Wow.
Because I just wanted to get my hand moving, and like you were saying, Allison, don't worry about the outcome.
Yeah, great.
Just put it down and see what happens.
I actually really like this. So did you go over it with water at all?
No, my hand smeared it.
Oh, okay.
Because I started on this side and worked this way.
So I want to show you something. This is a helpful gizmo. So this is just a cotton glove that I cut the fingers off of.
Oh, okay.
I use this for when I'm working, when I'm drawing on my iPad, so that I'm not smearing my iPad, but this works just as well for pencil.
Great
You
idea.
have to wash it
Yeah.
occasionally because it gets kind of guggy. But these is handy, and these are just little cosmetic cotton gloves.
Yeah. My goal here initially is just, I've always liked pencil and paper, just the plain number 2 pencil or something and paper. And so in thinking about this, I just went, just get, you know, a small book so that you don't feel you have to fill everything. And just sit and draw and not, and don't self-critique. You know?
So that's a pretty big page though, right? That was a big
No, it's a 5, kind of a 5 by 8 size.
5 by 8. Okay.
Yeah. 'Cause
That's much bigger than I do. I do little.
I looked at the bigger ones and went, nah.
I know.
Part of it was if I took this with me, I wanted something that was not only transportable, but highly portable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I did this. And I've always wanted to kind of draw my backyard through the seasons. I do have to say that as I was doing this, I was thinking, yeah, I'd like to bring my colored pencils out, but I was afraid I would get too bogged down on trying to get the color right, trying to get the shading right. And right now I just want to keep it simple. So I will pick up the journal and draw.
So one thing that I did want to point out here, because what you just said reminded me of something that I wanted to say earlier, which is that there's a difference between a sketch and a drawing. So what you showed us is a sketch, and actually, I think it was very successful. I think you're really getting, especially the succulent with a very small,
Yeah.
that really came out great. It really looks like, but a drawing is something that you can spend hours on. And so just sketching something out quickly, fast sketching is great. And it's perfectly fine to work very small to kind of get your composition figured out and stuff. And where's the sun coming from? What are the tones? What are the overall shapes? And then you can really go in and do a drawing from that. But
true.
Yeah. It's great to learn to work fast and small. So that's great. Fantastic. Okay, Anna. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that's kind of my goal. Just like I said, pare it down so it's simple enough that even I would pick it up and do it.
Great work. Great. I think it really worked for you here. So that's
yeah. Thank you.
Okay, Anna, would you like to go ahead?
Sure. So this is my daughter Amelia, who came with me.
Hi, Amelia.
Hello. I couldn't get her to draw, but she chatted with me. So I don't know if you can see her so well, but
oh yeah.
Okay.
I sent you the picture. So I just did little sketches kind of and made little notes as we were going through. And like you said, I put down, it was 54 degrees out and we were out from 9:45 to 10:45, just our little South Davis loop. And so this is what was going on the street. And then once we got onto the green belt and just kind of the change of feel, and just got a pencil and, scratch paper for now. And then came home and added a little just cheapy colored pencils we had. And I wrote a little haiku too. So.
Oh, that's good. Would you mind sharing it?
Sure. Cool, breezy morning, walking in the neighborhood, chirping, flying birds. So
love it. Thank you.
A little something to think about as we were walking along.
Actually, haikus are a wonderful thing to add to nature journals, and I hadn't really thought of that, but it's perfect because it's saying
what's happening.
Yeah.
It's the essence. Yeah. Excellent.
Well, and Amelia is actually a student now up at Humboldt State, though, like many students. She's here in Davis and she's studying. You can tell them what you're studying. And
yeah, so I'm studying environmental science and management with an emphasis on environmental education and interpretation. And so actually recently in my class, we've been doing project learning tree lessons. And some of those have been like nature haikus or a pared down version of nature journaling for an elementary aged audience.
Perfect.
That's me.
So, Amelia, you might want to check out John Muir Law's his website. He's just starting nature journaling for kids. I mean, he teaches it to all ages at noon on Thursdays and Tuesdays. Let me just write this, and I'm going to write it in the chat. I can't talk and type; it's just impossible. But
How to get
he has just started this thing, and it's really fantastic. Look at the introductory, you know, I think it's like a 5-minute video to what this is going to be about. And, you know, it's for kids, but it's really for everybody.
Yeah.
And I highly, I mean, first of all, he's just a fantastically enthusiastic teacher. And I'm going to say that most of what I know about nature journaling, I learned from him. But he's so generous and so gifted. You might really get a lot out of it, just because he's going to give you avenues into this that you might not have thought of. I mean, I love the haiku idea, and I think I'm going to start doing that. I love it.
Great.
Okay, Connie, are you there? Hello, Connie. Well, I don't know. I know that she has.
Can you, as a host, turn on her video or ask her if she wants to turn on her video?
I can ask her to start video, and I've unmuted her.
Good.
I wonder if she's still out walking. She might have, some people are talking about maybe staying connected while they went out. So it's possible she's not there.
Well, I saw her come back in earlier. That's why. And I think she had her grandson with her. Connie, hello. Okay. Well, let's just assume that she's outside drawing or something. Well, listen, everybody. I thank you so much for participating. This has been really fun. I hope you have enjoyed a little bit of a taste of what it's like to do this, and I hope you do it some more, because I have found it really helpful for keeping myself sane during this crazy.
Oh, that's the grandson.
Okay.
She did say she was going to have her grandson playing video games, so it might be that she's just on two things. Yeah.
Okay. So there is one thing that I wanted to say in regard to something that Gwen said. So, and it's about showing up with a pencil and a paper. And there's this guy who he's actually a wonderful sketcher. He used to be in advertising in Manhattan, and he was going to work one day, and his wife was I guess she was a photo stylist, and she was going up the other way, and she fell into the subway thing, and she got hit by a train. And she survived, but she broke her back, and she became a paraplegic. And they had an infant, and what he did, he would go home. I mean, he thought his life was over, and she actually had a much better attitude toward getting healed than he did to the accident. So what he would do is he just sat in his kitchen, and he drew his coffee cup. And he was in advertising, and it was very slick, it was very high powered, but he would just draw his coffee cup, and then he would draw the ketchup bottle, and so pretty soon he was drawing everything in the kitchen, and basically his world went from being this tiny to expanding. And he wrote a book about this, and he's a very cool guy, and he's a very very well known in the urban sketching and the sketching world. But it's just, it is and he thinks that it saved his life to do this. And I'm not going to make any claims on that level of grandiosity, but it really has been keeping me sane to be drawing while we've been in this nutty year. And I hope that you all are able to do a little bit of it, and that you find it as helpful as I have found it. Lois is back. Lois, would you like to share?
Well, no, but
Financial statement.
that's it.
Yay! Yay! Yay!
I had 3 phone calls and another Zoom meeting. I just didn't get anything done. But I was pleased to be here. I did download the handouts from your website. Appreciated those, and thank you.
Thank you.
Well, yeah. So I know that we are scheduled from 9 to 12. None of the things so far has gone all the way to 12. If people want to stay on and chat, that's great. But otherwise, from my point of view, I think we're done unless.
Go on that.
So because I was late, I didn't see anything. Can everybody hold up their little things just so I can see one? Oh, wow, Gwen, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Wow. Very, very,
And
oh,
Gwen is
beautiful
completely
colors.
new at this.
What?
Gwen is completely new at this.
Really?
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
I like the
Right.
little ones that Anna and whoever it is there have too. I like the little tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you see, so everything is valid, everything works, everything is cool, and my feeling about this is just do it. Go out and do it, and let it take you where it takes you. And everybody's journal looks different, and that's correct.
Mm-hmm. And it was so cold outside that I decided to do my houseplants.
Yeah, it's okay.
And I found that some of the African violets have buds. So next week I'll have flowers to plant, which I hadn't noticed before. So thank you for getting me to notice my houseplants.
Noticing is good. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much. This is
Thank you, Alison.
and
Good
we will be resuming this, second Sunday of every month.
So we'll just look on the Audubon website for
Look
the
on the Audubon website. For now, we are going to have to require that everybody pre-registers on there. But yeah, just put it on your calendar. Go register. It should be there.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks so much, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.